Jack Tannen is a treasure hunter who is in search of the long-lost treasure of the famous Blackbeard pirate. Blackbeard was said to hide his riches on a mysterious island somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. As Jack boards his plane, he feels a mix of excitement and nervousness at potentially finding the hidden island. He can't stop thinking of possibly finding Blackbeard's most prized possession, the Golden Skull. This was the only item that interested Jack, a human skull made entirely of solid gold. Who knew what something like that could be worth? Because of his research, it only took one full day to find the island that was said to have the treasure. However, it seems that Jack was not alone, as he would not be the only one searching for the ancient treasure. But Jack gathered his supplies, and set off hiking through the dense jungle. It was a tireless effort, hacking through vines and avoiding poisonous plants the whole time. At one point he had to cross a wide river that was so deep he had to swim. He paid careful attention to see if any dangerous creatures might be lurking beneath the surface. This river led him to a beautiful waterfall. Although he was tired, Jack felt a sense of exhilaration at the sight of the cascading waterfall. He also noticed a cave within the rock wall, and realized it would be best to set up camp for the night. As he sat next to his fire, gratefully drying off, he listened to the sound of the waterfall before eventually going to sleep. The next day, as Jack continued to trek through the jungle, he noticed some movement behind the trees. A fierce-looking jaguar was stalking him from a distance. But Jack remained calm. He didn't run, as he knew if he did, the jaguar would surely chase him. And luckily, it left him alone. Later in the day, as Jack was checking his map, he looked up and saw exactly what he had been looking for the entire time. A metal crate was sitting on the forest floor. At first glance Jack thought he had found the treasure, but after looking inside of it, it was only another clue, one that pointed him deeper into the jungle. However, it wasn't long until Jack finally found it. A great ancient temple in the middle of the island. Jack had to avoid all kinds of traps, even running from a rolling boulder at one point. But nonetheless, Jack finally came upon a large stone door. This was another puzzle he'd have to solve. As he figured it out, he muttered the answer under his breath and the large stone doors began to creak open. Inside was what Jack had been truly looking for. A room of all Blackbeard's valued treasures. And in the center, was the Golden Skull. But just as Jack stashes away the Golden Skull, he hears footsteps behind him. An angry pirate stood in the doorway of the treasure room. "Hand it over, or else," says the pirate. Jack wasted no time in engaging in a fight with the pirate. Fortunately, he caught the pirate off guard and was able to knock him to the ground and run away with his treasure. Jack ran through the halls of the ancient temple. He knew there would be more pirates after the skull. He sprinted through the forest, all the while hearing the yelling of pirates chasing him. If I could just get to my plane, he thought. But unfortunately, the pirates caught up with Jack and surrounded him. What was he to do? There were too many of them for him. He knew what they wanted and he knew he had no choice. Jack broke a deal with the pirates. In exchange for his life, he handed over the skull. Jack realized the only reason they agreed to it was because he had opened the treasure room for them. So Jack wandered back through the forest until he got to his plane. It was time to go home. But as he sat there looking back at the jungle for the last time, he remembered everything he went through to try and find the long-lost treasure. Part of him was sad he didn't get to keep any, and the other part was happy he was safe. But ultimately he knew this wouldn't be his last adventure. Because who knew where his next expedition would take him?